Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Excuse me, virtual title.
Yeah, my name is Ramesh Shivanna, Director at KCCA. I welcome all of you for today's seminar on wastewater and solid waste management technology, organized jointly by Federation of Karnataka Chambers of Commerce and Pride Energy Environment Research Institute. I also welcome all the people in the virtual. Now, we have with us our today's chief guest, Mr. Vijay Kumar Gogi, Chairman, Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. I request the President to welcome him and honor him with a bouquet.
KCCA and members of the FKCCA. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, please come.
Come.
Okay, one minute, sir. I also request our President to honor our Speaker of the Day, Dr. Ilan Kuppaswamy. Yeah, Mr. Yes, sir. Waste management is the managing of waste by disposal. Can you switch on the laptop? Waste management is the managing of waste by disposal and recycling of it. Moreover, waste management needs proper techniques keeping in mind the environmental situations. For instance, there are various methods and techniques by which the waste is disposed. Some of them are landfills and recycling, composting. Furthermore, these methods are much useful in disposing of the waste without causing any harm to the environment. Sustainable waste management is to reduce the amount of natural resource consumed, confirm that any material that are taken from nature are reused as many as possible, and that the waste created is kept to a minimum. So we have with us a very eminent speaker today, international speakers from Mexico, and we have with us our chairman, Karnataka State Pollution Board, to give insight on wastewater and solid waste management technologies. So now I request Mr. Perikal Sundar, President FKCCA, for welcome address.
You need to control. Can I another name?
Yeah.
Pollution board and pollution control board. What exactly?
Pollution board.
Pollution control.
Yeah, they are regulated.
Okay. Good evening to all. Shri Vijay Kumar Gogi, IFS, Principal Secretary, Department of Environmental and Ecology, and Chairman for Karnataka Pollution Control Board, Government of Karnataka. Dr. Ilan Kuppaswamy, President, Research, PERI. Dr. Oscar Monroy, former Vice Chancellor, Metropolitan Autonomous Body, University, UIM, Mexico. My dear colleagues, C.I.S. Prasad, Senior Vice President Elect at KCCI, and Shri Ramesh Shivanna, Director at KCCI and Chairman for the Energy Committee, past President and Managing Committee members of FKCCI, friends and print and electronic media, my dear participant, good evening to all. On behalf of Federation Karnataka Chamber of Commerce and Industry, on my own, I extend warm welcome to Sri Vijay Kumar Bogi, IFS, Principal Secretary, Department of Environmental and Ecology, and Chairman for Karnataka State Pollution Control Board, Government of Karnataka, who is with us today and address our members on the subject out of his busy schedule. I also welcome Dr. Ilan Kuppaswamy, President Research, Perry, who is the going and delivering the keynote address, and Dr. Oscar Manre, former Vice Chancellor, Metropolitan Autonomous Body, University UAM, Mexico, who is in the virtual, today is joined from the virtual. While India generates 1.25 lakhs tons per day TDP, the solid waste management every day, more than 20,000 TDP of the waste is not collected on a daily basis, mounting to 73 lakhs TDP uncollected waste every year. The leading to surf pollution, sipling the sewerage facility and water bodies of those disturbing the habits of human and other animals. The amounting generation of the garbage has been increased every year with increase in the population. However, waste management treatment given little attention. This amount expenditure on the health, which is include the sanitization, was 1.5 in the 2018-19 budget economy survey of 2019. The allotment has increased to Mary to 1.62 in the 2019-20. Thought the solid waste management rules make a mandate to collect waste management every household. Yet noted above, the collection is far less than those lakhs of decentralization approach and collection of waste. Given that permission are taken in the KSPCB, every time there is a need to set up a landfill or processing units. Lack of insufficient functioning of the KSPC become a problematic, and given the rules mentioned, the two forums processing waste, composite and biomethanation, there is a lack of scientific approach to address the same. Other processing such biomining and meditation using the microbiological organisms to treat the waste become important. It is also become important to reduce the amount of generation of waste by fixing the threshold to be collected every day, imposing the penalties if the same is not done. Reducing the amount of waste dumping in the landfill and increasing the creation of composites become a pertinent to tackle the issues pollution and conservation to the natural habits. Further, it has also become important to set up compostable plastic units to treat this recycled plastic waste which has not been done till date. Education to the mass about the reduction of generation waste together with the impose of the strict penalties upon the infringement, using the scientific methods treatment of the waste and increasing the treatment capacity plants in the way of forward. Before I conclude, I would like to bring the kind notice to Chairman of the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board that we have received a lot of communication from our industries on the notice issued by the Senior Environmental Officer of the Waste Management Cell to collect the monthly returns of Forum 3. Industries submit the monthly detail hazardous waste generation and disposal and stock. Sir, Bangalore has been considering the World Bank along with the New Delhi and Mumbai as a simplification of ease of doing business projects, and recently, that is 5th November, the Industry Department Government of Karnataka also invited primary meetings to put effort to minimizing the compliance of the burden, particularly renewals, license, certificates, permission, registration and records, filling and returns, inspection system, etc. I was surprised that the industry are governed by the 39 acts in the 2184 compliance, which is the unimaginable, sir. On one hand, government is trying to minimize the complaints, and other hand, seeking the additional complaints. Sir, on behalf of entire industry fraternity, I humble request you to look into the notice to issue your organization to file one more returns of the Form 3, and I request you kindly withdraw the same for the betterment of industry fraternity and simplify the ease of doing business in the state, attracting the investment flow. With these few words, I once again welcome to all the important seminar, and we have with us today experts are going to be deliberating on the subject, and let the listen from them. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, President. Now I request CIS Prasad, Senior Vice President, FKCCA, for the observations.
Good evening. Sri Vijay Kumar Gogi, the Principal Secretary, Department of Environment and Ecology and Chairman of Karnataka State Pollution Control Board, Government of Karnataka. Dr. Elaine Kuppaswamy, the President Research. Dr. Oscar Mandai, who has been joined virtual. My President Sri Parikal Sundar. Ramesh Shona, the Chairman of Energy Committee. Past Christians and management members of FKCC. Friends from print and electronic media. My dear past friends. Good evening to all of you, and I join my President in welcoming you all for today's important program. Wastewater treatment is fundamental to protect the health of many different ecosystems. I would not like to take much time because we have the Chairman of Pollution Control Board and also the two eminent speakers who dwell upon what and how important. I would like to only say that Bangalore has been known for green city, then IT city, Silicon. In some time it was like a garbage city. I think the government has taken initiative to bring back the glory of Bangalore and the green city. Knowing that our Prime Minister has been already mentioned that 5 trillion economy is going to be a manufacturing hub. It's going to be a Herculean task for the government and also for industries and the citizens especially, because the more and more the participation, the economy wants more industries, the citizen needs the health and purification. You have been coming across various other countries commenting about the air pollution, the mine pollution, and again the pollution top level. I feel that government has to give the more opportunity for the private players in this field, how to manage and how to benefit by creating the job, and also see that the waste will be recycled and reusable and benefit including the power generation. I feel that by inviting our President for your committed Pollution Control Board, a concept paper can be created and invite all the MSME segment how they can participate, because there is almost 8 million tons of waste across India. So you have seen recent trends where because of the non-proper, or I think maybe they are not involved Pollution Control Board, the white topping, how it's been not actually able to penetrate the wastewater. So I feel that the government has to play a role, inviting FKCCA through all the entrepreneurs and with all the eminent speakers. This should be an opportunity for FKCCA, all the MSME segment to explore the opportunities in this waste management, and I feel I'm already informed that you have been doing a great job. We are very fortunate to have you, sir, on today's to highlight what the government has been thinking and how you are going to involve the MSME segment, and also to Dr. Ilan with all your expertise and how we can prevent and see that, especially this COVID-19, last 6 months, you have an excellent task of managing the biological waste. You informed that there is a adequate facilities in India by which we have been escaped. So again I make an observation that see this area of potential for all MSME to explore the opportunities. I want a concept paper. We can have a complete understanding, invite all the stakeholders so that the government partnership can happen. With this brief observation, I once again welcome all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your observation. Now I request Dr. Ilan Kuppaswamy for the keynote speech on wastewater and solid waste management.
To Mexico, Respected Principal Secretary, Mr. Vijay Kumar Bogiji, President of Federation of Karnataka Chamber of Commerce, and Senior Vice President, Directors, and invited participants, ladies and gentlemen. I studied basically in India, then I went to Germany to learn little bit research on biotechnology and nanotechnology, mostly on environment. After that, I went to United States and to join with Dr. Oscar Monroy. There was a need in the government of Mexico, and we did a lot of work on environment nationwide. So I would like to share our experience. Probably Dr. Monroy will explain more about our hard works in Mexico, how we brought conscious of environment to the public, number one. Then the technology, then the selection of technology and experts, etc. So first of all, before I want to share my slide.
A display.
Yeah, it's okay. We should have the concept from the school education, especially all over the world, not only to India: reduce, recycle, and reuse. These three are, we should not forget. This is the basic environment education we should focus, we should give to our young generation for our future environment. I would like to talk about little bit global scenario, how the efficient of water is essential. The topmost countries, they use huge volume of water per capita is number one, United States. Number two is Greece, Canada, Turkey, Mexico and Australia, almost the same, Spain and Japan. However, due to our population, our use per capita is, use of water is little limited, and it's a great pleasure to join you to discuss one of the most important issues in our era after COVID. However, I would like to begin with a few words of thanks to the organization of Perry and the Rotary Club, especially FKCCI, for having organized this excellent program linking other parts of the continent to Mexico. Today, the water scarcity is one of the challenging issue in all over the world, because it's not only a regional, it's a major socio-economical issue all over the world. So because the understanding of the three words I was mentioning in my presentation, reduce, recycle and reuse of water, it should percolate in the minds of all the citizens. It should be properly advised to the citizens. It is like a political reform for the socio-economic development for the future. Each people in their mind, they should understand importance of recycling of water and the solid waste, plus reuse of water, and they should understand the importance of the future generation, because every citizens, they always demand of water supply. They protest to the government, but they never thought of how to reuse it, how to treat it. They never tell to the government. They always want to have water supply and the scarcity. This is the major issue they create. They forget about their responsibility as a citizen to treat the water. So it's not only, it is an integrated global view people should have, how to be responsible to the environment. Then only we can create the brave new world in India. One example I would like to mention, in India, 61,754 million of liters of water, wastewater is generated in municipalities. Out of which, almost only 30%, 35% is we are able to treat because the capacity of the treatment is very less than the production. Because in those days in India, they never thought of water treatment. After independence, they started and thinking of doing this, and the explosion of our population, the existing facility could not meet to treat the total wastewater. I would like to say, same experience I had along with Dr. Monroy in Mexico. We wanted to treat all the municipal wastewater. It's one of the largest wastewater plants in the world. We participated, design and treatment technologies. We made a lot of patents. We also sold the patents to all over the world, including United States and Japan. The thing is, first, what I say is very important. Before we select technology, we address the population, we address the school, we address the college, and as public in general. These three principles, like what we did for COVID in India, very great change in all over the country. People are very hygienic. Similarly, we should make a campaign for how to reduce and reuse and recycle the water. As a matter of fact, Mumbai and Delhi, I can say they sit on the huge municipal waste sites. So the urban population today, they use about less than 100 liters per capita per day. It's very acceptable. Out of which only 30% we are able to treat because of the capacity building is essential to treat the water. It should be the responsibility of each citizen also how to reuse and reduce the water resource, one of the precious on the planet. Whereas when you see about Mumbai and Delhi, they use almost 2 times higher quantity than any other urban area, almost 220 liters per capita per day. Maybe they are taking so many times bathing, I don't know, but it's almost 2 times of any urban cities they use the water. So similarly, I would like to mention about how we are facing this municipal solid waste. Globally, 1.3 billion tons per year the solid waste is produced, and it is estimated very soon, next to 4 years, about 2.2 billions by year 2025. Are we prepared for it in India? Yes. In India, for example, approximately, depends on the state, it varies from 1.1 to 1.4 kilogram of solid waste per day per person. It is far less than any developed countries like United States or in Canada. We are little less. However, it is a huge burden to our land space because we have limited land space, but we produce huge burden of solid waste every day and every year. So municipal solid waste in India, the composition, if you talk about, it's very interesting. Only 1% plastics, glass and metals. You must be knowing why it is less. It's very good pickers at the solid waste site. They will pick up the plastic for recycling, very excellent, and also the glass and metals as a scrap or recycle. This is very interesting. It is not common in other countries, and we are very efficient in other things. At the same time, we think waste is a waste. The waste is a resource for us. We should think about how to produce energy out of it. 40 to 54% of the organic fraction we have in our solid waste. Similarly, some earth, soil materials and ash content is about 30 to 40%. 3 to 6% we use paper material, packaging material that also recycled, some of them. And mostly when we see about almost 50% organic fraction is one of the most resource material in our solid waste management. So if you allow what we expect in 2050, the production of solid waste will be 165 million tons by 2050. Only in urban areas I am talking about. So what is the technology? How it is fits in our socio-economical sustainability? These are all the things we should address. Even from municipal presidents and from the villages to the urban and semi-urban area. We have to think about what type of technology we need. Practically what we do in India, mostly some of the areas sanitary landfill, some places in composting. As our principal secretary was telling that one of the best efficient biomedical waste are treated in the state of Karnataka. I am very proud to announce also to here. It's very important, one of the toxic waste they tackle very efficiently. And it's and also the pyrolysis and gasification in certain areas in the country and especially in the state of Karnataka. And we should focus waste to energy also. For today we are talking about renewable energy resources which we need for India before 2030. We should produce about 175 gigawatt of energy through renewable resources. The other one is the refuse derived fuel, that's also a sort of energy. Out of which I would like to mention the sanitary landfill is not the appropriate solution for countries like India. We are killing ourselves, it percolates to the subsoil, it goes to the groundwater level. It's very, very toxic compounds and toxins are there. So these are all the components which create unknown diseases in longer time. So what is the simple, sustainable, adequate technology today? India is a country of excellent weather, diversified environmental condition. So we should also select adequate technology and sustainable technology, that is anaerobic technology. For example, we implemented almost the same in the whole Mexico. Environmentally, weather-wise, almost similar India also, even though it is other side of the world. So the anaerobic technology, which is very sustainable, which produce energy, that's what we are all talking about, biomethanization, and we can produce energy out of methane, and we can completely mineralize. What does it mean, mineralize? Suppose we are putting the food waste, suppose we are putting fruits or agro waste or paper waste or whatever the organic waste, this will be converted into mostly CH4 as a methane. That is the thing we have to focus. Country like India, we have to focus on selection of technology, not for luxury to get energy costing technologies. The function is the same. Of course, in certain materials like hospital waste, the better option is the pyrolysis, which they are implementing and functioning all over the world. So for the municipal waste, what I propose based on our 24 years of experience in other countries, anaerobic technology is one of the most suited and very efficient and which cleans up the environment. So I would like to show you here some interesting it's like, yeah.
One single.
The last one. Yeah. Thank you. So if you can look at, I think here you can see the different colors of red color, where it produces almost to 5 to 9 kilogram of waste, solid waste per day per capita, especially UP, Delhi, and when you compare to Karnataka, it is still is a very excellent condition, acceptable condition of solid waste when you compare to other states. So the most, the greener ones are the lesser in production. The red color is the highest production of solid waste. So the very interesting part of in our solid waste issue in India is in the urban areas which produce about almost 62 million tons per day in urban waste. Very interesting is that out of 62, 41 millions is collected. So you see as a chartered accountant in environment, you can also do the accountability. Out of 41, we are able to treat only about half of the waste. So major portion of the waste is not collected. The other whatever collected, less than 30% is treated. So what I see is here a huge opportunity for investment, a huge opportunity to bring technologies, and it's a huge opportunity for entrepreneurs to think about this municipal solid waste management as a opportunity in India. I think Dr. Oscar Monroy also did a huge work in Mexico, and it's a mega plant we developed in Mexico so many years, including water treatment, etc. So we joined in developing so many wastewater treatment plants for the state level. I did it also in Japan and Canada, US. I want to do something for India, and of course I would like to thank the secretary, such a way he managed the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board, implementing the regulations. As part of regulation, I would like to share a little bit about how we control the pollution. When you compare the usage of water by the industries and the municipalities, the industries use the percentage is less, but they are the highest polluter if they don't treat. I am not blaming the industry. In their process, they should integrate sufficiently the treatment system to reduce almost suspended solids and BOD levels and the COD levels to be under the standards of Indian discharge limits. In Mexico, what we did it's very interesting. I would like to share. We worked with the National Water Commission and Secretary of Environment, along with the President of Mexico. What we did is we calculate the industrial waste water disposal, how much suspended solids and how much BOD you dispose. We charge them like environmental tax, so that you cannot treat, you pay the tax and we treat and make sure the water is treated and disposed for another reuse. That is the way we treat it. The second objective, very interesting in Mexico, is the wastewater treatment is one of the most important factors for the farmers. I think the world's largest irrigation by wastewater is Mexico. The Mexico City is about 20 million people, generate a huge volume of wastewater. The same wastewater we wanted to treat and give clean to the public. They don't like, because the farmers wanted nitrogen and phosphorus from the water. So it is very interesting. As a scientist, what we did we made a protocol that we should not remove nitrogen and phosphorus. If you put the nitrogen and phosphorus in wastewater, the eutrophication will occur. That means overproduction of algal blooms and other organisms which evaporate the water. But the farmers will protest if we remove the nitrogen and phosphorus because they reuse the water for agriculture. So what we did it, India and Mexico is some common problem of parasites. So the helminth, we call it the eggs of helminth eggs, we have to control, otherwise people get jaundice, people get cholera. All these problems will come due to the wastewater usage and reuse. So what we did it, we controlled the dust fertilizer for agriculture purpose. It's very safe and it is free of pathogens and good for nutrients for the plants. So they grow all the vegetables and all these things. So it controls the food chain, the contamination of the food chain by the microorganisms. So this type of the things we did it in Mexico. The project costed almost $2 billion, and it's a huge work. And Dr. Monroy and ourselves, we specialized in all our lifetime on anaerobic digestion, and I specialized in EGSB reactors, expanded granular sludge blankets. Most of the prestigious industries in Mexico and worldwide in the US, they use our patents. And I want to do something for India also. I lived almost 24-25 years in the United States and Mexico, and I want to share my experience. Thank you so much, Mr. Shivana.
Thank you, Dr. Ilan. Thank you very much. And now I request Mr. Vijay Kumar Bogi, Chairman, Karnataka State Pollution Control Board, to address. Or to Chairman. You can mute.
Good evening to all the participants. I have accepted this invitation just for the privilege of understanding the things from experienced, wise people like Dr. Oscar Monroy and Dr. Ilan Kuppuswamy, so that I can carry back something for my management of pollution in Karnataka. Respected Chairman of FKCCI, Sri Perikal M. Sundar, Moderator Sri Ramesh Shivana, and Senior Vice President elect FKCCI CA-IS Prasad, and all the participants who have joined physically and virtually for this evening's deliberations. I am a naturalist by my profession. I am supposed to safeguard all life forms on the earth. I belong to a dedicated service of
It's
Indian
happening right now, sir.
Forest Service. All virtual participants are requested to mute so that the deliberations can go on. Otherwise, it is going to interfere in the presentation. Okay. See, my job in Indian Forest Service is to protect the land used by all the living beings other than human beings. If I protect the land, then their survival is there. If that land is allowed to be occupied by human beings, all those life forms will vanish from this earth. 80% of the land we have occupied, none of the life forms can thrive in this situation. And 20% is left, and if we are allowed to occupy that 20%, whole thing will be lost, and through that we are going to lose enormous benefits to the human beings. Medicinal plants are there, animals are there, and there are ecological services. Ecological services in terms of pure air and pure drinking water. With whatever wisdom, man cannot imitate nature. What falls as rainfall in pristine forest area, even after use by all the animals, those animals drink that water, defecate in that, they take bath in that water, but after that it will be fit to be used by human beings for direct drinking, and it is fit to be put on the God's head. In Indian culture, Jalabhishekam, the moment it descends down from the God's head to his feet and comes out of the temple, it becomes unfit for anybody's use. Such is the creation of human being. God created by human being also cannot give that touch of nature. Otherwise, you tell me, is it acceptable for you to drink or use water directly flowing out of any of your holy cities? Maybe it is whatever religion. It is just not possible. Nature is above God, and it has to be respected more than God. With these principles, see, human civilization, we have got made two parts. For sustenance of life, we require life support systems. Life support systems means every cycle should be intact. Hydrological cycle, carbon cycle, every cycle should be intact so that every life form sustains there, and it is self-regulated. Once all the life forms are there, it is self-sustained. Whatever waste is generated, that waste is digested by nature without leaving any trace of that, and that is how we call forests as pristine forests. There is no trace of garbage and sewage. Garbage and sewage are creation of civilization. More we are civilized, more we produce garbage, more we produce sewage, and we don't know how to deal with them. When we don't know how to deal with them, then that civilization support system compromises with life support system. Life becomes unbearable. That is how great civilizations like Indus Valley civilization, Egyptian civilization, Inca civilization of Americas, they vanished from the earth's surface. Now, if civilization support systems are not managed properly, the toxicity out of garbage and sewage and industrial chemicals will increase. That makes management of toxicity a huge task. What was the system followed till now was dumping of mixed waste in dumping sites or burying the mixed waste in places. With that, we had enormous problem of unhygienic conditions for the living of people who are nearer to these garbage sites or dumping sites, and leachate percolating into the ground. It contaminates surface water, it contaminates groundwater, and so on and so forth. And then we came out with waste to energy plants. Waste to energy plants are welcome, but they are not the solution, because the waste, what we call as waste, is a resource to be reused and recycled. So unless we reuse and recycle the resource of waste, we cannot reduce consumption of natural resources. Natural resources are inherited by us from our forefathers, but let us not forget that they have been borrowed from our younger generations. If we exhaust all the resources, what our children will have for themselves, what our grandchildren will have for themselves. Let us not become selfish. Let us try to minimize the use of resources. Minimizing the use of resources can be possible only by meaningfully processing the waste. That is, segregation of solid waste at the doorstep, segregate them into degradable and non-degradable and hazardous waste. Three categories are a must. Degradable material, before it is composted, it has got tremendous value as nutritional thing for dairy, piggery, etc. If it is fed to animals, animal productivity will improve, simultaneously your compostable material will come down. It will be composted inside the stomach of animal instead of composting it outside. So let us use all the animal power in the world to feed the leftover food so that it is composted inside the animal rather than outside. After that, we have got plethora of opportunities in the form of non-degradable waste, what we call as dry waste. Dry waste collected can be divided into several components. Each of the component can be a raw material for production. For example, plastic waste collected can go back into plastic industry, reduce the requirement of fresh plastic grains. Like that, every component in the dry waste can provide an opportunity to segregate and reuse the elements which are existing there. Thereby you reduce the consumption of natural resources. This should be the Bible to be followed by the world. And finally, after doing this, if anything is left, they are called process rejects. Neither they can be composted nor they can be used as raw material for other industries. Such material needs to be handled in a different manner. Either you bury them, it will be a very limited quantity, 5% of the total garbage, or else you use this material for incineration, produce energy. Only this material should be used for production of energy. Otherwise, all the valuable material which is a resource cannot be burnt in incinerator to produce energy. This should be our ideal goal. Now, the process rejects, we have got every technology in place. We have experimented everything. There are sporadic success stories here and there. One Gram Panchayat doing well, one industry doing well. When it is uniformly adopted and we achieve common good things, then its results can be seen. Karnataka is pioneer in co-processing of process rejects. What cannot be buried, what cannot be incinerated elsewhere, that material can be sent to industries like cement, where their kilns achieve temperatures of 2000 degrees Celsius, wherein process rejects will be completely gasified and burnt. No traces of that garbage or reject will come out of the cement factory chimney. It is arrested then and there. Combustion is complete. Pollutions are reduced to zero. But on the other hand, it is going to achieve a very huge benefit for the society. In the process of using such process rejects, what we do is we reduce the requirement of coal in the cement industry. Coal mining is reduced, coal transportation is reduced, coal usage is reduced by burning process rejects of garbage in cement industry, thereby achieving economizing the very scarce resource which is limited, that is coal. Reduction of consumption of coal can yield dividends for future. So this has to be kept in mind. All these things have been put in place, but everybody has to join hands. So on the other hand, we put cement industry into jeopardy and difficulties. If we don't provide them proper rejects which conform to the standards of moisture and conform to the standards of metallic free fuel, then what is aimed at, reduction of coal consumption, may backfire and consumption of coal will increase because you have sent something very bad into the system that will take away moisture from municipal waste which has been sent there. They have to burn more coal and it will become uneconomical. And if metal ingredients are involved, then it leads to another problem. And altogether, it may cause a big accident in cement industry. These things have to be borne in mind. Everybody has to play very responsibly. I understand there will be gaps in the system. Now, small scale industries and industrial units, they have to play as an enabler between municipal corporations and co-incineration facilities like cement industry. If solid waste is available in a town, if some small scale industry can convert the material into raw material, recycle it and process waste, they should be prepared to the level cement industry can accept, and it is totally acceptable for cement industry. In that case, we are going to take the processes to a logical end. All these things are known to us, but planning for the things is the most important. Well begun is half done, it is said. Whenever we go for some technology, whatever solutions we find, first and foremost thing is, what is the task? My task is 100. What is the existing capacity? It is 60. What is the gap? 40. I have to fill in this gap. Both together I have to achieve. Not only what is the present capacity and what is the gap, I have to plan for future. If my requirement is 100 units today, down the line after 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, it will be 200. If I keep that future requirement also in mind while planning the things, it will not spill. Like every time we project ourselves, we are going to handle these things in an important and meticulous manner. We plan and we don't take the requirement of present, we don't take the requirement of future at all. That is how after treatment also the sewage spills into stormwater drains, and after treating also garbage is seen all over the country, all over the world. So that is how we have to approach the system. Now I have been given 30 minutes time, and I know I have started bit late because of program schedule. I will utilize my 30 minutes time. Now coming to water and wastewater recycling. Water is a precious thing. It is a life giver on the earth. Water is elixir of life. Without water, we cannot thrive. The first priority of all of us should be to meet the requirement of drinking water. When drinking water is not available for every citizen in the country, we take bath in the same quality of water, we flush our toilets with drinkable water, we use drinkable water for washing our laundry, maybe we use drinkable water for industrial purposes. It is a paradoxical situation. On one hand, you have got no water for drinking, on the other hand, we use water carelessly and irresponsibly. Now, the principles of reduce, recycle and reuse have to come to our rescue. First and foremost, every city, how much water it consumes, 80% of that is converted into sewage. If this 80% is properly treated and used for secondary uses, then your demand on fresh water can be reduced by 70%. 70% is this water and 30% is fresh water. Then you understand the value of the water and use fresh water for very important purposes. Don't use fresh water for flimsy and such cases where it is not required. So first and foremost thing is, what is to be done? India and Karnataka, all of us have got one huge responsibility. If X amount of water, say 100 units of water is pumped to a city, 40% of that is unaccounted, 60% is accounted. Why 40% is unaccounted is your distribution system is not okay. Your pipes are leaking. See, what is pumped to city, all 100% doesn't reach the customers where it has to go. 30-40% is lost on the way to households, to hotels, to industry. This first of all, unaccounted water should be accounted for and a distribution system should be very effective. Then only you can make fresh water available to everybody. On the other hand, handling of used water, that is wastewater, we have got very different systems. We have followed standard technologies invented by developed world. Dr. Ilan said developed world use its consumption of water pattern is quite different and their sewage standards are quite different. What technology suits for Western world or developed world like US, it will not suit for India. This hard reality has to be understood properly. We have to come out with proper models for every village, every town, every city. What works in city need not work in town. What works in town, it is not required by village. It should be site specific, intensity specific. With purpose, we have to adopt technology. India, I feel that rather than going for this kind of technologies, we have to have a mixture of technologies, especially for mid-level towns and villages. Fecal sludge management is most appropriate management system, wherein the toilet tanks are sucked by tankers and taken outside the city, and fecal sludge management units are established which are cost effective. They can work with 1/20th of the money of a sewage treatment plant. So when such cheaper technologies are available, going for costly technologies, imitating blindly some other countries will not work. Second thing is, if you take care of the sewage, then other water, what is called sewage, your sewage water is water you take bath, water you wash your clothes, that can be segregated. Sewage water treatment is easier and it can be done with 1/4 of the cost or 1/5 of the cost of what we treat as sewage. The organic load is removed. With that, sewage treatment is very much possible and it will reach acceptable standards. Reuse of recycled water is a major challenge in India. We say use it for construction, use it for so and so thing, use it for washing. If the water is having smell and color, nobody is going to touch. So if you segregate sewage from sewage, the standards can be achieved. Water will be acceptable by everybody. Recycled water will be acceptable by construction laborers. They will not hesitate touching that water, mixing that water, using that water. So to bring a revolution, we have to have sewage and sewage separately, and sewage treatment will achieve good standard water and acceptable water to the society, thereby greatly reducing the requirement of fresh water, and this water can be a wonderful water for industries as well. But as a last precaution, because I am addressing the gathering of industrialists,
Jayanagar.
any load of pathogens, organic matter can be handled by disinfection. If chemical load is loaded into the drinking water, it is difficult to be removed. The cost of that will be 10 times the fresh water. Industries contribute chemical load to the water. We all should be very careful. Let us not become penny wise and pound foolish. By saving little money, not treating industrial waste properly, country will have to bear the cost of toxicity of water, toxicity of drinking water. It will result in deformities in our younger generations. It will make treatment a burdensome thing. Health will be compromised. So, with a request to all concerned that at no point of time the quality of water should be compromised, and industries have got a huge responsibility. You have to act as a self-regulated body to save humanity rather than depending upon a regulator like Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. I don't know, my interpretation of things was quite different. This will result in intra-generational equity of resources. All can get drinkable water in present generation. Intergeneration equity also can be achieved. Like what we have enjoyed this globe as our own, our future children, their grandchildren will also be able to enjoy the bounty of nature, bounty of Mother Earth. If not, then everything is compromised for our generation, and then our future generations also will suffer. With these remarks, I extend my gratitude to FKCCI, its chairman, all executive directors and dignitaries present here in this August gathering, and all participants who have joined us on virtual platform. Thank you one and all.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your wonderful speech.